I'm Marna, and this is the Twin Flame Detox. So I got a question from a viewer asking about Kundalini Awakening, and this has become a very, very popular term, so we need to look at what it is. Now, the concept is thousands of years old. It comes to us from the Near Eastern traditions. I believe it's Near Eastern. It comes to us by way of the Hindi and Vedic traditions. And basically the concept is you have a life energy that is asleep and coiled up right at the base of your spine. And when that wakes up and it starts spreading through you, that shift in energy changes everything in your life. So some of the things that tend to happen when this energy starts moving through you is the life that you knew falls apart because you are no longer the person in the life that you built. So things that do not serve you anymore fall away and you start moving on to entirely new things. This will trigger anxiety and depression in most people because when your world is falling apart around your ears, how do you not have a reaction of anxiety and depression? There can be some physical symptoms of this, and I'll go into those in a minute. But then you're going to start noticing the unexpected. Favors, synchronicities, help when you most need it, just suddenly appear out of nowhere, and you start feeling that maybe you're being guided by things. You start getting an inner urge to try something completely new and off the wall that you never would have tried before. This is when you take up yoga for the first time and realize that maybe your hip does stretch in ways you didn't realize it did. You become sensitive to what is happening in the world around you. You start noticing people begging for change on the side of the road. You start noticing the energy shifts in people around you. You become more sensitive to the energy of the people that you deal with. And that prompts you to begin making some really, really life-changing decisions. You may become more involved in charity work. You may decide to change careers. You may decide to pick up and move across the country. Your intuition becomes stronger, and you have a much stronger urge to listen to it. You get a feeling that you are part of a greater cosmos, a greater society than just you. So you develop this very strong desire to be of service to the people around you. And this in turn prompts you to identify your soul path, what it is your soul has been wanting you to do, what has been building you up to be capable of doing. So that's the quick overview. These symptoms can be very intense, but the process is fluid. It comes and goes in waves. So there may be times when you're feeling hit by all of it full in the face, and there may be times when you feel almost back to your old self. That is all perfectly normal. Now let's do a little bit deeper of a dive into what the symptoms that you can expect in a Kundalini Awakening are. On the spiritual level, you will occasionally have these blissful experiences of absolute oneness. You see the divine in everything around you. And this may only be a flash of insight, or it can last for days, weeks, months, even years. Now, the downside of this feeling of bliss, and this is one that I've been dealing with a lot lately, is you start feeling dissociated from your physical body. The more you are in tune with your inner energetic self, the more you're moving into your 5D self, the less the physical body tends to intrude on your consciousness. So you may feel a bit out of it. The world around you, though, it feels like you're seeing colors for the first time. One friend of mine described it as looking at a 4D TV and that sharpness for the first time, seeing all the details, how vivid and alive the entire world is around us. You could start having out-of-body experiences. And the first time this happens, it really can scare the daylights out of you, particularly if you're not expecting it. You'll have psychic experiences for the first time. You may start seeing light forms or hearing your guides speak, or suddenly noticing musical lyrics out of nowhere. I've always referred to this as the radio in my head gets tuned to a certain station and starts playing it until I sit there and get a message out. You'll start developing lasting extrasensory perception, your clairsentience, clairaudience, clairolfactus, smelling, your claircognizance, your knowing without knowing how you know, will start to develop more strongly. You may have spontaneous past life regressions, those weird dreams that you've been having of being on a battlefield or of nursing someone back to health during a previous virus, or even of just sitting in a park in strange clothes, are all memories that are starting to come through for you. Now then, as all of this is happening, particularly when you're hitting these blissful periods, this can lead to you feeling like you're the chosen one. You're called upon to heal and save the world. And to an extent, that is true. You are called to heal. You are called to do things to save the world. You are one of the chosen. Now then, that does not mean you are the only chosen. None of us are Harry Potter. None of us are Artemis Fowl. We are still human beings having very human experiences, but we are awakening to our own potential. You'll start getting insights and downloads. If you get a sudden ringing in your ears, that's one of my big signals that I have a download coming in. Now, this can be distracting. I've had at least some level of ringing in my ears since 2009. So there are ups and downs to all of this. You start understanding that when you hear about the veil between the realms, the veil between worlds, the veil is not really there. The veil is something we put in place so that we can tell ourselves there's a level of separation because we weren't ready to start seeing the overlap. And as you move forward on this, you gain the ability to, not just the ability, the desire to absorb an immense amount of spiritual material. You start reading everything you can find on the internet. You start watching every video you can find on it just so that you get the answers and understand what's going on. So on an energetic level, remember, we are energetic beings in a physical experience. You feel something moving inside of you. You feel this electrical current just coursing through you. You feel the flow of the energy within you. And at times this is an incredible feeling, and at times it feels like you're on fire. You may experience jerking or shaking. This is what the yogis call kriyas. It can also manifest as your body going into a spontaneous yoga pose, even if you've never practiced yoga. I know quite often I will suddenly find myself in child pose because it stretches my back out and makes the energy flow better through me. You have a feeling that your boundaries aren't as strong as they used to be. You become more conscious of other people's energies. You can feel it in the air around you. You suddenly realize that your ability to be empathetic has just gone off the scale. Now then, for this, I highly recommend you look at my parka video, because this will show you how to protect yourself from being overwhelmed by other people's energies. You're going to start feeling a sense of warmth, of heat, of inner burning. And it often starts at the bottom of your spine and then spreads outwards through your body, particularly coming up through your chakra systems. As your chakras come into alignment and come online, you can feel the burst of light and energy in each one. You're going to notice your breathing changes. You'll start breathing more deeply without even thinking about it. You're going to have these intense energy surges from time to time. It almost feels like you're plugged into a transformer that's malfunctioning. You just get this boom as something new works out in your energetic field. You get a feeling of tingling in your brain. If you've ever been sensitive to electromagnetic fields, you've probably experienced this tingling feeling already. I know whenever I go underneath high tension wires, my entire head feels like it's buzzing. You start feeling an intolerance to certain energies as well. You aren't able to put up with being around certain people. They make you feel uncomfortable. They may even make you feel ill. And there's no logical reason for this. This may have been someone who was a good friend of yours, but your energy no longer matches. And your energetic body is saying, I can't do this. And, as your energy is evolving, and it's evolving in stages, you're going to get this feeling of being just in fragments, in pieces. It's harder to find your center when you're at different levels of evolution all around you. That is normal. It does pass as you go through the process. Now, what effects does all of this have on your mind and your body? So, as I mentioned before, anxiety is common. You are having intense shifts in your energetic body, in your physical body, and in the world around you, and you don't know why this is happening. Especially if you're early in the process, you may be having panic attacks over this because you know something has changed and you don't know what or why. You're going to be experiencing some mood shifts, and again, this is going to be regardless of what's going on outside of you. It has nothing to do with what's going on outside of you. This is your body adjusting to the new energies. And those shifts may be complete and utter bliss and childlike joy. It may be periods of your heart opening and feeling love for everyone and everyone. It may be feelings of being completely overwhelmed and not knowing how to cope. It may be a feeling of being completely and utterly alone, and this can spark depression. You may start grieving the people who are no longer able to fit into your new life. You can feel empty, that nothing has meaning because you've gone through this change, you've gone through this extreme bliss, and people who aren't meant to continue with you have dropped out of your life, and suddenly that bliss fades, and where do you go? And you've let go of your core beliefs and everything's changed and you're feeling completely adrift. That is also very, very normal in this. And you're going to have very, very vivid dreams, lucid dreams. Your subconscious is talking to you in your dream space. Listen to it. Your dreams have meaning. It's just sometimes you have to work a little bit to understand what that meaning is. Now let's go into the physical symptoms, because yes, the physical symptoms are very real. You are not imagining these. You could feel completely overstimulated. You may not be able to tolerate bright lights, loud sounds, large crowds. Oh, large crowds give me such a feeling of overwhelm. You start feeling that everyday life is too overwhelming, too much, because you are experiencing things from a new energetic level and you are raw as you are doing this. Now, a lot of people, when they hear about Kundalini Awakenings, they talk about the sexual side effects. Yes, your sex drive goes up. You have a feeling of, hey, I am here, I am ready to experience everything. This may come up in times when it's not convenient, but like everything else in this, you have to adapt. You may develop some digestive issues. You need to change your diet. Your appetite changes. You don't eat as much, or you eat more. You're having cravings for strange foods. You may suddenly develop food allergies or intolerances that you've never had before. You may notice changes in your eyesight or your hearing, how sensitive your eyes are, how much. My glasses prescription. When I went through my Kundalini Awakening, my glasses prescription changed by 2 numbers. So, this does happen. Your weight is going to shift because your energy needs are shifting. Even though we have a static system that likes to keep us all at the same level, your metabolism is being affected. Your metabolic rate is affected by these shifts in your energy. It may speed up, it may slow down. So you may lose or lose weight or gain weight without changing anything. This is not any fault of yours. You may be feeling insomnia, Or you may be feeling extreme fatigue and need to sleep all the time. You are doing a huge amount of energetic work. And while that energetic work may keep you awake when you are trying to sleep, it is also taking up a lot of your body's resources. So that tiredness and fatigue are normal. You may start sensing temperatures differently. So you may feel overly heated or colder than usual because your body temperature is fluctuating. You may start feeling pressure or pain in random places. This is often will happen in the chakra centers. One experience that I've been seeing in people that have been ascending around me and in my own life is when that crown chakra starts cracking open, you get at least a 2-day migraine. It hurts like all get out and it doesn't respond to painkillers. But once it does, it is so worth it. Those headaches are normal. Feeling pressure, feeling pain, feeling like you are cracking open from the inside out is all part of your chakras coming online. You may start experiencing skin conditions. This was particularly strong for me when my Kundalini awakened the last time in 2008, 2009, and it has continued since then. This is probably going to be a little bit on the gross side. I don't know how well you'll see it. That has been diagnosed as psoriatic arthritis. It comes and goes on my skin, and literally my skin starts to flake off. It's not fun, it itches, but it is something that you get experience with. Another thing that does change is your immune system does different things. Going through a Kundalini awakening causes an immense amount of adrenal stress, and that is adrenal stress can manifest as developing autoimmune conditions. In 2012, I was diagnosed with a cascading autoimmune system failure. What this means for me is I have a number of autoimmune conditions that are all correlated. These symptoms started for me in 2003 and have continued ever since. They have included Hashimoto's thyroidosis, they have included fibromyalgia, ankylosing spondylitis. There is just a whole host of things that I have been diagnosed with, including the psoriatic arthritis, that are all a result of my immune system going haywire. And all of that can be traced back to this energy shift of the Kundalini awakening. So you're going to have strange symptoms in your body, and quite often doctors are going to look at you and say, I have no idea what is causing this. I have no idea what's causing your peripheral neuropathy. I have no idea what is causing your ankylosing spondylitis. I have no idea what is causing your Hashimoto's thyroidosis. And let me tell you, if the doctors don't know, they won't just say, I don't know. They will sit there and say that you're imagining it. They will sit there and say that you do not actually have these symptoms, that you are just need to lose weight, you're hallucinating, you're imagining it. I'm here to tell you, you're not. It took 5 years for me to actively find a doctor who could diagnose a thyroid issue. And that is something that's easily provable by running 4 blood tests. So, as you're dealing with this, as you're dealing with the strange aches and pains, as you're dealing with your body going haywire, your doctors are going to tell you it's all your imagination because they don't see the immediate thing. Keep pushing through on it because it does make a difference to make sure that you're on the right medical regimen to help get your body back in shape after your energy is shifting. All right? So that is the basics of a Kundalini awakening. Thank you very much for asking that question. Hopefully the information is valid. I'm Marna. Thank you for coming to join me on the Twin Flame Detox.